I couldn't figure out how the fuck to do that with the goofy news software that I had to use, which is fine. The software is. It's not fine that I didn't get to do that. I really
Right.
wanted it to happen.
Yeah, we'll figure it out eventually.
I'm sure I won't. I'll probably have to pay for something.
Right.
Uh,
Pay someone else to do our shitty podcast for us.
Check it out. Y'all ready to jam? I don't think so. Y'all ready to jam? Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, you wanna jam. Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Come on and slam, you wanna jam.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of In Search of Gay Shit. It's me, VZ. I'm your host. Today with me, as always, going strong, 7 episodes deep. Why couldn't it be 62 more? It's the Kawaii Senpai 69.
Hey, that's me.
There it is. We've done it. That may be the best intro we've ever done.
I think so. That's probably the best episode we've ever done. Honestly, we should just stop now while we're ahead.
Shut it down. Yeah. It's all downhill.
So how are you doing tonight, Mr. VZ man?
I'm regretting using that same joke twice. That's how I'm doing. How's your day been? How's your evening?
My evening's alright. Got home from work a little bit ago. Been chilling out, preparing myself for this wonderful piece of art that we put out every week. Every week, without exception.
This episode's just getting worse as time goes on.
Well, I mean, we did call it.
We did call it. Listeners, in case if you're not aware, this is the 7th episode. 7 straight weeks that we've done this podcast now. I guess the only people who wouldn't be aware would be the ones that can't read, so sorry. You should probably go back to school.
You ableist pig.
These jokes are really bad. They're really bad today.
Well, what have you done in
Well.
the past week since the last time we recorded?
Well,
Let's get nice and personal with our listeners for a minute here.
do you want to know what I fapped to? Like, what are you getting at?
I'm interested.
You're interested.
Which I'm sure everyone else is too.
It, hentai.
It is art.
This is horrible.
Well, I think we'll jump right into it then, because I had some things that I wanted to discuss today.
Thank God.
I think
quit asking me personal questions.
We're gonna go to the basics with this podcast, to the very fundamentals that everyone making a podcast should know.
Oh, really?
Today, we're gonna talk about the 3 P's of podcasting. Okay? Pokemon,
Uh-huh.
politics,
All right.
and what else starts with P?
Fisting.
Good point. Yes, fisting.
Uh-huh.
So,
Oh, was that the third one?
yeah. Right, as usual.
Amazing.
So, of course, as everyone is aware, 2 weeks ago, Pokemon Sun and Moon came out.
How many P's were there?
3.
Okay.
So, I understand that you've been doing a lot of Pokemon playing, Mr. VZ.
Well, so I got the plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another P of podcast.
That's true. There are actually more than 3, but these are the 3 that are important.
The important P's. The important P's is those versed in the P's we call them.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the plus this last week, and hold on, I'm curious. I don't know if you remember this, but the MSRP for them suggested is like $30 or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked mine up for $45, and I was
Damn.
yeah, I was I don't know if you remember this, 2 weeks ago, whenever they launched. Um, but people were scalping the shit out of them, dude.
I'm not even surprised.
They were getting up there to ridiculous levels, like hundreds of dollars almost. I'm looking now.
That is absurd.
Yeah, it looks like the prices are continuing to go up.
It's a
They're
good thing I wasn't planning on getting one then.
Yeah, they're reaching up into like the 60s and shit as of recording this for new ones at least. That's yeah. So I was happy with Gen 2 coming out, I knew that the prices were only going to go up, so I got one as soon as I could.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as opposed to getting one a week and a half ago whenever they were selling for less than 30.
Right. So how exactly do they work? Because I've seen a little bit about them, but like in practice, how do they function?
So first thing, order an English one because all the directions that I got and the box were in Japanese, so I couldn't read any of it.
Nice.
Um, you know, I could guess probably, but the gist of how it works is there's only one button on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your interaction with it, you can't like check batteries, you can't like turn it on or off. It's all handled through the one button.
Mm-hmm.
You go into your Pokemon Go app, and then there's a setting there for the Go Plus.
Mm-hmm.
You turn that on, it searches for the device, and you just hit the button, and then it should just sync up. It uses Bluetooth and shit, so I mean, you could run it and like, put music over your speakers, hook up some headphones. I don't know what else people use Bluetooth for. I guess like you could control a rocket ship or something. I don't know.
That sounds
Drone.
pretty legit. I'd be down with that.
But yeah, it was pretty straightforward. And once it's hooked up, it will. So as you have the app open and your screen on, I believe it will still detect things that are within range.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't, other than like for Pokestops, you don't really want to use it to catch Pokemon because what it does is it will throw one Pokeball at it, whatever it is that it's got in its sights,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll either catch it or the Pokemon will flee.
That's pretty shitty, actually.
So it takes a lot of that control aspect out of it, but where it does shine, and I didn't know this, and it wasn't really advertised as being able to do so. So keep it on the down low.
Mm.
But you can actually use the Go Plus while you're driving.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Doing what would normally be considered excess speed to the app, as long as the app itself is closed or your screen is turned off or whatever. As long as it's not open to tell you, hey, you're going too fast. We know you're driving. You shouldn't be doing that.
Shit, dog. I gotta get me one now.
Yeah. So honestly, just being 100% straight up here, I don't use it really whenever I go on my walks. I only use it whenever I'm out in the car or a truck. And yeah, I've been having, it's not like Pokemon Go still isn't really a game. It's not like I enjoy using it. It just makes it easier.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. And that, unfortunately, what a lot of people have said, and I believe is true based on what I've seen, is it's very pay to win, more or less.
Yeah.
You can use it outside of what you normally would be able to use the app for, and even though it's a coin flip, either you catch it or you don't, every time, it feels like it comes to about maybe 60-40. That might be affected by my level. That might be easier. You might have a higher success rate if you're like a lower level or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I am acceptably happy with my purchase, and I look forward to continuing to use it to cheat at the game.
Hell yeah. What would you rate it?
I would rate it like, See, this is a tricky subject to broach because I don't know. I would probably give it like a 5 out of 10. Completely inoffensive. It makes the game... See, it feels weird talking about it like that because you're not really playing a game by using that. It just makes it more passive. It makes it so you can get more stuff. Which I guess means that you can just aggregate more resources and more Pokemon, which makes it more fun, I guess? I don't know. I wouldn't recommend other people pay as much money as it's at right now. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely wait until the price drops, which it will eventually. It did before.
Yeah. One thing that I have been having a problem with, I don't know if you've seen this, but
Hmm.
I've been having eggs that I got at very similar times, like within a couple Pokestop spins of each other,
Hmm.
that hatch around the same time, hatching two of the same Pokemon in a row, but the second one not giving me candies.
Oh, that sucks. No, I haven't had that happen.
Like earlier today, I hatched two Machops in a row. The first one gave me 17. The second one, I still had 17.
It could be
And
that because they're both hatching, because to my understanding, the way it works in the game is it will update your steps periodically,
mhm,
and we've done a lot of work to make sure that that period is smaller and smaller.
mhm,
But it'll just update the steps and then like execute the number of steps on whatever it is that you have that's counting steps. It's like, for instance, with the eggs, if you have two that are kind of close, but not the exact number, if you go enough steps to hatch the one that requires more, it will just hatch them both at the same time. Does that
mhm.
make sense?
Yeah, I was actually, as we were discussing this, I was thinking about that, and I was like, maybe it's counting both as having already been hatched when I see the candies the first time,
Yeah.
which is kind of obnoxious, but
It
is
could
what it
be that.
is.
It could also be as well that since that's happening, it's just counting both of the candies and adding them up and giving it to you in one batch.
Mhm.
Like whenever you release Pokemon, multiple ones, it won't give you, plus one, plus one, plus one. It'll give you plus three, you know. And I think it's just extending to that in all likelihood. It could
Right.
also be that they're just ripping you off.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that's the case though. I think it's just a visual bug.
Yeah, it could be.
That is weird though that you've had. How many times has this happened where it's been the same egg or the same Pokemon in
That's
two eggs?
happened 3 times now.
Wow. I don't think that I don't hatch many eggs in close, relation to each other. But I don't think that I've had any duplicates from eggs, like to a point where I would be like, oh, that's weird.
Mhm.
Obviously I've had multiple like Rattatas and shit like that, but I don't think I've had any duplicates hatched like that. That's pretty odd.
Part of it is, I suspect anyway, 'cause from my understanding, the Pokestop that you get them from impacts what Pokemon it can hatch into.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's. I understand what you're getting at. I don't think it's so much like one Pokestop always gives Machops or anything like that.
Right. I think it's seeded somehow so
Yeah,
that it has a certain subset that it can give you.
yeah, exactly. It's predetermined. Speaking of which, I haven't really been training them out, but I have not gotten any 10-kilometer eggs since this patch is launched.
I went through a very long dry spell. Like, I've been playing almost nonstop since Gen 2 released because I was excited.
Mm-hmm.
And
It,
I today got 3 10K eggs.
oh wow! Did you hatch them yet?
No, not yet. They're two of them are at about 2K.
Uh huh.
The other one I got like right before I left work, so hasn't gotten
I
much
see.
on it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was pretty excited about that. I fully expect it to be 350 candy Larvitar hatches.
350 candy larva.
That way I can just
Uh,
evolve straight into a Tyranitar and power it up to max level.
I haven't explicitly made note of all the eggs that I hatched, but I don't think I've ever had one that gave me max candy so far.
I've had two that I can remember. One was a
Wow.
Dratini, which I was
Holy
very
shit.
happy about,
Yeah, that's pretty
and
amazing.
I don't remember what the other one was. It wasn't anything impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I would also accept a 50 candy Dratini egg because I'm at like 53 or something like that Dratini candy
Yeah,
towards my Dragonite.
my poor Dratini. It's just never happening.
Yeah, I thought about having it as my buddy, but I'm not walking 5 kilometers for one candy. No, no fucking way.
Yeah, there's just no way. There is just no way. Um, let's have a countdown. What's your top three favorite Pokemon of the second generation?
Top three favorites in second gen. Really like Tyranitar. Really
Mm-hmm.
like Umbreon.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I don't know. For third, it's a tie, I think, between Espeon and Skarmory.
Skarmory. Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
What about you?
Second generation was always felt like a dry spell to me because there was only one ghost Pokemon that they added,
Hmm.
and I was very frustrated about that.
I hatched a
Uh,
Sneasel earlier.
yeah, Sneasel's pretty fucking cool.
Yep.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know a whole lot. I don't know what the second gen Pokemon are mostly. I have to like think within the binds of the other generations and kind of do process of elimination. Um,
That's alright, we can come
well,
back to it.
no, no. Okay, hold on. I'm thinking. Yeah,
Okay.
okay. So I really liked Foretris. That was
Hmm.
really cool.
Yeah.
Um, Crobat is probably number two,
I'm almost
and
able
then
to evolve my Crobat.
yeah, yeah, me too. I caught a Zubat and I appraised it, and it's got two fucking perfect IVs. So I was like, hell yeah,
Nice. That's
this
good
is a
shit, man.
dream. And then I don't know. Number three is probably what is? It was one of the early ones. Hold on, I'm a professional Pokemon player. I know all the Pokemon. Furret, that's the other one.
Furret.
Furret's really fucking cool. He's probably my favorite out of all of the
Useless Pokemon.
de facto normal type.
Yeah.
Or that's not the right use of that word. Like normal archetype Pokemon per iteration. He's probably the coolest one.
Hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
Hell
Fortress,
yeah.
Crobat, Furret.
I really like Lugia, but I didn't think that including legendaries in that list would be fair.
I was thinking about it earlier. They've done a specific legendary per pair of games since second generation. First gen didn't have that. I was thinking
Mhm.
about that. I was like, that's kind of weird. And then I thought to myself, are they ever going to do that again? And probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good point.
Yeah,
And then there was
it's not a good
Crystal
point. You don't
throwing
have
it
to say
off.
that. I'm sorry, what?
And then Crystal throws it off though because the yeah
Well,
the pair
the
is the two
the
birds, and then it breaks up the three dogs.
the the games that make them trios don't count. I mean, come on, that
I
doesn't make
mean,
any
Ruby,
sense.
Sapphire, and Emerald at least are the legendary trio from that one.
No, that's not how this works.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Don't mess up my very bad point. How dare you? I'll turn this podcast around. Go back to episode 6.
Oh shit! Please no. But yeah. So what do you think so far of Gen 2 now that that's come out?
It
What would you rate it? Give it a rating.
I'm not gonna give it a rating yet. I will say that it was very. I wasn't expecting Gen 2.
Hmm.
It's actually kind of weird how I figured out that it came out.
I was actually really surprised because there was not a lot of fanfare about it. They were just like, "Oh, it's here."
Yeah, exactly. I had actually checked. I opened the game up like I guess 2 or 3 days before it had come out. And I was like, oh, let's see if they've changed anything. And I go through all the menus and I look at all the stuff, and I was like, oh, nothing's changed. Well, I guess I'm just gonna keep not playing. And then literally like, 3 days later, I open it up and I was like, maybe something else has changed. And I was like, oh, there's a Ledian over there. I'm gonna. Okay, I guess Gen 2 is out, and then I go through the menus and they've changed everything, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty badass.
Yep. Yeah, I found out
So,
about it scrolling through Facebook, and I was like, "Fuck! I've got to update." And I called into work the next day to go Pokemon hunting.
you're the worst kind of person.
Fuck that place. It's Walmart.
If
I
on-
don't give a shit.
If only we all could aspire to such heights of what the hell do they call it whenever people skip stuff? There's a word for that. I'm not
Uh,
verbose enough to know it.
I give me something. Help me out here.
Lackadaisical? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
That's not it.
That's a word.
Lacking enthusiasm and determination. Careless, lazy. Yeah, that describes you. If only we could all aspire to such lackadaisicalism as yourself.
Hell yeah. Well, I don't know if that's fair though, because I did this for the viewers. I did this to make sure that I did my due diligence about one of my favorite talking points. Not at
Interesting.
all for personal gain.
Uh, yeah, that's been my experience so far.
Yeah. I've been pretty happy with it. It's given me something else to waste my time with, so there's that.
Another constant distraction from the imminent fear of death.
Hell yeah. But on other Pokemon news notes, their Sun and Moon came out, and they are a heckin' fun time. How's
Don't say that. Don't use that word like that.
Why not? It's a meme. I thought you
It's
liked
not
memes.
a meme. It's stupid.
Most memes are.
Fucking. If you use that again, I will kill you.
All right. Heckin' bring it.
I swear.
But yeah, so tell me about how Sun and Moon's been treating you. I played through. I haven't really done much of the post game yet.
Well, you've already probably experienced most of it then.
And by that I mean I beat the Elite Four. I caught the first of the legendaries that you have access to, and then I paused the game to wait to battle Berry Soda,
Hmm.
and
You
haven't
mean
really.
loose berry soda?
Yeah, she cheated. It's okay.
Uh,
So-
gosh, it's been a while since I played it. It was a very fresh experience for a Pokemon game. It's the weird thing about Pokemon is they only have to change, so much in order for it to be a great experience.
Right.
They don't. There's nothing particularly innovative or, um, you know, innovative or new about the game other than the Pokemon themselves that they do to make the game more engaging, other than just making it look nicer, making the character model, the game world more smooth, adding more detail to shit.
Right.
And this game actually making a compelling and interesting story arc that,
Yeah, that
Pretty
actually that is my favorite part of this game, hands down. Like
yeah,
the idea of actually being engaged in the creation of the region's Pokemon League was really cool to me.
yeah, yeah, it was an interesting take that they hadn't really done before.
And
the
actually
whole-
having the professor be like an experienced trainer with legit Pokemon.
Okay, hold on, dude. Is this going to have spoilers in it? Are we okay with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
You've
been
warned.
it's been
You've
2
warned,
weeks.
listeners. Exactly. It's been 2 weeks. You should have played through it all by now. Yeah, it was very in all the games leading up until now, other than maybe like I don't know, the second one because I was a child, you could see who the league champion was going to be as you were progressing through the game. You could figure it out.
Right.
But this one actually, I'm not going to say that it 100% blindsided me, but I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't see that coming whenever you went up against the professor for the league title. And I was like, hell yeah.
He's
It was a
also the
very-
hottest professor.
I don't know, dude. Fucking Sycamore's really fucking. He's up there, dude. He's got those charms.
That's true.
It was very refreshing, and it felt like a suitable capstone to the game whenever you got to that point when you become the Pokemon champion because of that. And not only that, but if you progress through the Elite Four a second time,
Not yet.
in past games, they kind of just sweep it under the rug where the Elite Four just exists forever, and that guy's the champion, even though you've beaten him all these times.
Hmm.
In this game, you're still the champion, but in order to get to your seat, you have to defeat the Elite Four, which is kind of that's a little bit hand wavy. But what they do that's really interesting after that is once you get past the Elite Four again, you aren't fighting another champion. You're instead defending your title against another challenger,
That's pretty cool.
which is not only the professor, but like other people that you've battled throughout the game.
That is actually really cool. I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
go in
that
and do that.
whenever I got to that point and I saw that that was how they handled it, I was like, you know what? That makes a whole lot of sense, and I don't know why they didn't do that for every other game leading up until now.
Hell yeah, that is. I enjoy that concept a lot, even though I haven't seen it implemented yet.
Yeah, it's that was pretty cool. The so I guess we'll talk about this in like uh stages. So they didn't there mechanically there isn't anything really that changed. They got rid of swarm battles again, and instead they have in this one, what is it? SOS battles,
Yeah, the Pokemon cry for help.
which is probably like, I don't know, maybe the worst part of the game.
Yeah.
A lot of people's
Yeah.
complaints are about like there are two really big things that people didn't like about this generation, and that is the introduction part takes way too long, which I don't care. It's an RPG, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then the SOS battles are the fucking worst, which I kind of agree with, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I enjoy that they're trying new things. It's just that I feel like they didn't really test this and be like, yeah, no, this is good. We should add this to the game. Instead, they were just like, yeah, this is new. Let's put it in.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, whenever you're fighting a Pokemon, if it gets weak, it can call for help, which will make it so that, one, the battle takes longer because you have to then spend an extra turn or extra turns dealing with the other Pokemon that shows up. And B, makes it so that you, did I say 1 and B?
Yes, you did. It's okay.
B, makes it so that you can't throw Pokeballs at the Pokemon that you're weakening if that was your, goal.
That was the thing that irritated the hell out of me, honestly. Like, I would find a new Pokemon that I hadn't caught yet. I would
Exactly.
get it low, and then it would
Yeah.
keep calling for help.
Mm-hmm. Now, in that situation, the way you get around that is they can't call for help if they're status.
I did not
And I
know
knew that. Yeah, I knew that at a fairly early stage in the game, so it kind of simplified the whole process. But the game never explains that to you. You know, if they had told you that, it would have been one thing. But they never tell you explicitly how SOS battles work, and it's
Right.
part of the reason why it's frustrating, I think, for a lot of people. Yeah, the SOS battles are really the only new thing that they add, other than they get rid of HMs in this one, which was a really big turning point for a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm very glad that that happened.
Yeah, a lot of people before you get into the game. Some people were, not some people. It you're starting to wonder like how it is that they're going to do it, but it really makes a lot of sense the way that they handle it, and it works better, I feel, than HMs, 100%.
You don't have to worry about having an HM slave or anything to get through your dungeons and whatever other shit.
Well, it's we're in 2017. We don't use that word anymore.
Oh,
They're they're an unpaid work.
that's right. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, listeners.
But it works a lot better, and it's in past games. There's something very visceral and rewarding about it. In past games, other than for like, writing surf Pokemon in Ruby, Oras, there are some specific ones where whenever they would use surf, you would write on that Pokemon. In this one, it's very visceral and very it's what's the word that I'm looking for? There's good feedback whenever you call for your Machamp and then you're riding around on your Machamp.
That Machamp was the best.
I fucking love that Machamp. That ability
Just
is pretty
running
cool.
around in its arms,
Exactly. Cradled in its
being
arms, looking
held
up into his
close.
eyes. Whenever you
He's
use
so
surf,
strong but so gentle.
so gentle. Whenever you surf, you're on that Lapras or you're on that Sharpedo, and it's very, it's very tactile. It's a lot more. It feels more real, and it's very cool. They hadn't done anything like that.
Yep.
The other big thing mechanically is player customization came back, and that was really cool. I feel like
I
they did
was
a good job with that.
going to be very upset if they didn't do that again. I'm very
Yeah.
glad that they had that.
Honestly, every single game from now on should have that. I don't think there's any excuse that it shouldn't be. It was kind of okay in fifth, or not fifth.
Oras.
No, it wasn't in Oras. Remember, it was in X and Y, and then they took it out for Oras.
Yes, I thought that was the point you were going to make.
No. The point that I was going to make is that it was an X and Y, and then they took it out in Oras, and I was like, "There's no reason for that.
Right.
It should just be in every game from now on because it makes the experience so much more personal. 'Cause
It
it's
lets
your
you
avatar.
be, whoever you want to be in the game.
Exactly. Um, and yeah, that mechanically, I feel like those were the big points that they changed in the game, and I felt like they did a good job overall. Um, I guess the next thing would be like the visuals. This is probably the most moe Pokemon game that's ever come out.
That is true. Who is your
And
favorite character?
favorite character in the game? I guess. Oh, it's not even competition. It was Guzma. It's your boy.
Hell yeah.
I fucking all of teams. The character designs in this game were fantastic. The best ones that they've ever made.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I was saying, this one's a lot more moe than any other one, and they completely make it work. You know, it's not too over the top and too cartoony as to be unbelievable, but it's a lot more cute and more unified in its themes,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot more modern, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. And it looks really good. They do a good job with it.
Yep.
And my screen turned off again. I really hate that keeps happening.
Fucking nice. Yeah, it was like in X and Y. I was really impressed with how far they had come with the graphics. Is that the right word? You know what I
Graphics,
mean.
visuals,
The way the visuals were done,
art style.
the art style was much more impressive and better suited to the game, I think. And this one continued that trend and took it even farther, which I was very happy with.
Yeah, they did a very good job with it. You know, from and it's not even just the characters. Like the game itself is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very colorful.
Vivid.
It's very vivid. There's a lot of blues and greens and pretty flowers and stuff like that. Yeah, it's overall it was a vast improvement over the previous game. And then you got character designs and all the unique characters and stuff like that with the Kahunas and how they all represent like their different Pokemon types and stuff like that. The character design surrounding those is really cool.
Yep.
You got the professor, you got best girl Lily,
Hell yeah.
worst character Hal. They all look cool.
Yeah.
The Pokemon
Then there's
themselves look
Gladion.
really neat. Yeah, then there's Gladion, who's crawling in my skin.
Gladion's great.
He is great, and that's and then you have all of Team Skull, who is just fantastic.
Fucking nerds.
Every single moment with them was amazing.
There was a picture that I saw. It was Gen 1, oh no, here comes Team Rocket. Gen 2, oh no, here comes Team Rocket, etc., etc. Gen 7, oh shit, what up, here comes Team Skull.
It's your boys. Yeah, that was. They were probably my favorite part of that whole game. Team Skull and the admins and stuff like that. They were pretty good. And then the whole entire turning point, where Pokemon kind of did like almost what could be considered a twist.
A Shyamalan twist?
Not really on those levels, but Team Skull isn't really the bad guys,
Right.
And then you figure out what are they called? Team something.
Fucking
Aether?
yeah.
Yeah. The Aether Foundation is the actual bad
I
people. There's like,
as soon
shit.
as I saw Lily's mom the first time I interacted with her, I was like, she is a fucking bitch and I hate her.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it was really interesting the way they handled that. Yeah, visually the game was. I really like the direction that they took it in this time, and I hope they continue to innovate. Whenever they first announced, all the changes and stuff like that, the setting for this Pokemon game, it was very, not nervous, not anxious, but it was uncertain about the direction that they were taking it. With the theme around like the island theme, sort of Hawaiian stuff, and I was just like, I'm not so sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you play the game, and it's fucking beautiful and phenomenal. And they just did such a good job. And you could tell that there's so much passion in what they did.
Mm-hmm.
It was very good. It was a very good, not really innovation, but twist on what Pokemon has done in the past. I hope they continue to do that sort of twist in the future with the next generations.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to keep happening forever.
Hell yeah.
There's no reason for them to stop now.
Right.
I don't know. I guess the only other thing to talk about is sound design. The music in the game is very good.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It probably has. I'm trying to think the two most noteworthy song pieces that stick out in my mind are whenever you fight against Guzma, the Team Skull boss.
Yeah.
That one's really fucking good. I like that. And then whenever you have the Pokemon Champion battle, that song is fucking A+, dude. Badass.
I always love the championship music. One of my favorite Pokemon songs to this day is the Gen 1 champion music.
hmm Yeah, they did a very good job overall with the with Pokemon Sun and Moon. I'm very very happy with what they did, and I'm looking forward to. There's been rumors, and I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but people are saying that Pokemon Stars is going to be. They're going to go back to the formula they did in 5th gen. Not 5th gen. 4th gen, which is kind of weird to say at this point. And they're going to release a third complement to this release.
I was really expecting them to do that with X and Y. Yeah, make Z
Everyone
for
was.
Zygarde. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
why they didn't.
Yeah, I don't. It's really bizarre.
That is a mystery.
Yeah, it shall remain a mystery. What about you? What is there any? Are there any major points that you feel that I missed? Anything you want to discuss about the game?
I don't know. I think we hit most of it. Like I was saying earlier, the story and the characters are what really drew me in, and you know, actually getting attached to the game world is something that I haven't done too much in
Yeah.
the past couple of generations.
A completely foreign concept to Pokemon games up to this point.
Like I really, when I was a kid doing, Gen 1 and Gen 2, I enjoyed it a lot, and it was a similar level of attachment with this game that I had way back then. So the nostalgia factor is it's pretty intense. A lot of hype from that.
I did forget to mention. So they took out like Mega Forms in this one more or less, and they replaced it with Z moves. And that's probably my only other complaining point. Z moves are pretty cool, you know. Seeing your character like it's another
Do the goofy
it's
dances and shit.
Yeah, it's another like tactile feature, you know, visceral thing to the game where your character is doing something and it's causing something to happen, and it feels very personal. And that was pretty cool. But I think Z moves aren't a sufficient replacement for Mega Evolutions. And it was very frustrating that they didn't add any new Mega Evolutions.
Yeah, I wish they had added more. The fact that they didn't get rid of them is comforting. Means there's room for them to maybe bring them back in the next generation.
Yeah.
But I fail to see why they stopped that trend. And like I can see the school of thought that the Alolan forms kind of take the place of that, and they were really cool, and I really enjoyed the breath of new life into some of those old Pokemon that never get seen anymore. But it doesn't make most of them competitive, whereas
Yeah,
Mega
it doesn't.
Evolutions for the older Pokemon did.
Yeah, probably that SOS battles are probably my two only real complaining points about the game. Other than that, it was phenomenal. I really enjoyed it. I wish that I had enough money to buy the other version so I could play through it again, because I don't want to lose all my shit that I have on this save file.
Right. Yeah, that'll be one of my next things that I get, because it is really cool, and I do want to see... Because I know there are some differences, and I know they're not huge, because they never are, but I do want to see the differences between Sun and Moon.
Hell yeah. What's your? I know we scored it last week, but let's come at it again.
All right,
Now that we've
I'll let
looked
you
it
go
up.
first.
Oh, how kind of you. That thanks. I don't know. I pretty much follow suit. Give it 9 out of 10. It's the best entry that they've had so far, and I look forward to seeing more from them.
I agree. I'm actually going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. It was very impactful to me.
All right, good. There we go. That's Pokemon. That's Pokemon.
That is Pokemon.
That's Pokemon.
So on that note, do you want to move on to the next P of politics?
I did say that's Pokemon.
All right. So, for anyone who hasn't been paying attention over the past 2 weeks, a lot of things have been happening here in our beloved country. Some of them not so good, some of them pretty terrible. We talked about a couple of them
It's
last week.
all doomsday talk over here. The world's coming to an end. Nothing.
There's
Nothing can
nothing
save
to be
us.
done about it. We should all just kill ourselves now.
Basically, there's only one thing left to do.
But no, on a serious note, not trying to be alarmist, there are some pretty substantial regressions that people are attempting to make. So, VZ man, I linked you a couple of bills that are being passed through the House as we speak.
Yeah, you link these, and I don't know enough about politics to understand this. I just read the title,
Hmm.
and I'm just going to assume that that's truth. And I'm going to write a BuzzFeed article about how the government wants to destroy education. And I think that's the point of this, right? That's what you wanted to do.
I mean, if you look at it, this is the U.S. Congress website. This is where they post information for us lowly peons to read about the
Mhm.
bills that are being passed. And so, for anyone listening, the first one that I would like to bring into everyone's attention is originating in the House, Bill H.R. 899, entitled "To Terminate the Department of Education."
Uh huh.
Pretty simple. The text of the bill literally says a bill to terminate the Department of Education.
What does the other one say? Is it more in depth?
Yeah, the other one's a lot more in depth. Yeah, this one says, "Be
Oh
it
wow, you're right.
enacted by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled. Section 1, Termination of the Department of Education. The Department of Education shall terminate on December 31st, 2018.
Is there a follow up to this bill, or is that it?
Nope, that is it. It has been introduced. It hasn't passed anything yet. It was referred on the 7th of this month to the House Committee on Education and the Workforce. So that means it's still alive,
Was there?
which is
Was there? What's the reason for this?
it doesn't say
know a reason?
here. I can't see anywhere in here that it tells us the reasoning for it. It was introduced by the Republican Party. It has 7 co-sponsors in addition to Representative Thomas Massey from Kentucky, I believe that is. I can only imagine that this is... I can't imagine what could possibly come from this in a positive light.
Well, I mean, this guy can't be that bad. He co-sponsored a bill that proposes respecting state marijuana laws.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
he-
then he must be... This must be something good. We should just let this pass.
I mean, it makes sense. Sack made you excited.
But yeah, this is one of the things where, because of the way that school systems are and all that, I really can't imagine the full scope of what removing the entire Department of Education would do.
Well, maybe. Well, here's my thoughts, and maybe this is why this would make sense. I'm not trying to say that the Republicans know what they're doing, but maybe this is just because we don't. I don't think that you or I fully understands the top to bottom, the way Department of Education works, and it might just be like the solution of federal Department of Education. It might just try to push everything down to a state level.
That is my assumption, and that leaves potential for the states at that point to do good things with it, but then there are also states that have been lobbying for decades to have religion be taught in public schools and all sorts of other bullshit like that. And, I don't have anything against religion in theory, but I do firmly believe in the separation of church and state, and if you want your child to be taught religious beliefs, that's what church is for, or private schools related to your religion. I don't think that's something that needs to be taught in a public school.
No, no, you're completely wrong there. Obviously, obviously, all religion needs to be taught in schools. That's whenever they said separation, that was actually a grammatical error. They meant to say conjugation.
Oh, okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I It's a commonly misunderstood. I don't know why they let that slide.
And to
So,
leave it in there so long, like, you would think a simple amendment could have been made by now.
I think it was Abraham Lincoln that said that whenever he signed the Declaration of Independence, that was something that they didn't want to have in the Bill of Right Hasms.
Mm-hmm.
Right haves. There we go.
Okay. That sounds about right. It sounds pretty accurate.
The other really the other implication that I get from this, and that you're probably going to bring up, is that it looks like they could maybe be looking to, instead of making education something that's controlled federally and by the government, they would want to privatize it, which I know has been tossed around before in the past.
That is the current head of the Department of Education, Betsy DeVos, is a she is a stout supporter of privatizing education.
Now, you see, that's kind of. It would have to be that she owns something in private education, because that would seem contradictory that she would. Well, I don't. I guess I don't know what her vote is on this bill, but it would seem like if your job was the head of the Department of Education, you would probably not vote to have the Department of Education terminated.
Yeah, there's I've talked to a couple of people about this, and it's a lot of speculation because, like we said earlier, there's nothing in here to tell us the thought process behind it, or if they would replace it, or if they have something else to put into place.
Yeah, there's a lot of not really. There's a lot of shit that we just don't know about this, I guess.
But it's been tossed around because a lot of Donald Trump's cabinet picks have actually been for the dissolution of the departments that they were put in charge of. And maybe not true, maybe true. We won't know for a while. But a lot of people suspect that the reason that he picked those people is so that they could destroy it from the inside.
Or like President Trump, some sort of American government assassin.
Well, Steve Bannon, the guy who is his chief advisor, is actively against the government in general. His
That's kind of cool.
he has publicly stated that he wants to destroy the state, as he put it.
Why? What?
I don't know. He's also a white supremacist. He was I don't remember if he was one of the main editors or if he was the owner of Breitbart, one of the big quote unquote alt-right papers.
Right. That's the one that Milo Yiannopoulos writes for.
Used to write for.
Used to write for.
Yeah, that's
I don't keep
another
very, I don't
interesting
keep
thing.
very current with anything news related.
Yeah,
No.
a couple of days ago, some things
Well, he
that
couldn't have been the owner. The owner is Andrew Breitbart.
Okay. Yeah,
There
like
you
I
go.
said, I don't remember exactly where he stood there. It might have
Yeah.
been editor-in-chief, but he was pretty high up and involved in it.
What was this guy's name that you're talking about?
Steve Bannon. Bannon.
Ugh.
But
This shit
Milo
is
actually
Bannon.
is in hot water now because of some things that he said in regards to pedophilia.
Uh-huh.
And he resigned from Breitbart he had a position as keynote speaker at one of the Republican meeting things. I don't remember which one it was. That has been canceled, and yeah, he's not in good shape with his internet career right now. He lost a book
Oh.
deal over it.
Steve Bannon is the co-executive producer of hit TV sitcom Titus. He's fine. He's vouched. That's cool.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, just let him do whatever. He's fine.
That's a good point.
I know that one thing about him, and because of that, he's cool. There you go.
There we go. The other bill that I linked you to.
No other bills, please.
All right, we'll get through this one pretty quickly.
All right.
So, HR 610 to
H.
the
Where's the HR Geiger bill? That's the one that I want to read. Talk about body monstrosities.
yes.
Go on. 610, right?
Yeah. So what this one is doing, it says here, to distribute federal funds for elementary and secondary education in the form of vouchers for eligible students, and to repeal a certain rule relating to nutrition standards in schools. Again, the first part of this, I'm not 100% sure of the
Well,
full
hold on.
implications of,
Hold on.
but the part that I
Um,
okay, go ahead, sorry.
If the other bill passes and the Department of Education is dissolved, how would the government be able to give any schools any money anymore then?
I assume that would be done through the state level, but we need a political scientist to come in here and teach us about all this.
Shut up. This isn't a podcast for learning.
You're right, I'm sorry.
How dare you?
We don't learn things here.
We learn nothing. That's the whole point. And then we just complain about it, and then we look at our president and wonder how we got here.
But,
I'm sorry, was that too real?
that was very accurate, and just kind of wanted to leave that point hang for a moment. Let people simmer on that one.
All right, let's let it hang.
Just hanging out there.
Silence.
Alright. Silence is over now. But the big thing that I wanted to point out in this one, other than the fact that this one of the ways that they had been talking about starting to privatize education, is they can't completely privatize it because people have issues, people are poor. And one of the things that they've tossed around is giving out vouchers to the people who cannot afford it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this sounds like this is the beginnings of.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is they are repealing the No Hungry Kids Act with this. And it's... The big thing that this did was it required schools to have healthier foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, stuff like that. Fat-free
Right.
milk instead of... and reducing the levels of sodium-saturated fats and trans fat in school meals.
Yeah.
So they're deliberately just repealing something that was designed to make the meals provided in schools healthier.
Maybe it's too expensive to do all that. I don't know.
The government makes trillions of dollars. I'm sure they can figure out a way to provide children with somewhat healthy food.
What do they care? Kids are just gonna die anyway.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the point that I was going to make here, is that clearly they don't care.
Well, that doesn't... Again, I feel like there's something that we just don't know about what's going on. If you were to just look at this act, yes, it seems pretty scary. And a lot of bills that... I don't know. This one isn't really big enough for that to be called, like, a rider. It's in the title of the fucking... bill, but is there like another bill that's trying to go through Congress that's trying to replace this as well? It might be that they can't repeal and create a new program at the same time. It also would seem to me, do we know exactly what the Hungry Kids Act does? Does it just require that schools follow these rules, or did it also give schools money and stuff like that?
Let me see what I can find here.
The other part of that is, I mean, the argument that our government makes trillions of dollars of money, I just don't think is a. That's not. We're also trillions of dollars in debt. I don't really think that's
In debt to who, though?
in debt to. In debt to who's gonna pay for it.
No Hungry Kids Act. Let's see.
Wait a minute, this is also a bill. What?
What?
Oh, it seems okay. Apparently, they've tried to pass a bill to repeal the No Hungry Kids Act before as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how to look. Actions, maybe? It was introduced in the House in 2015. I don't.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
All that.
It looks like it didn't get anywhere.
I guess so.
Cause
This feels all deliberately confusing.
yeah, it's so. Let's see. Yeah, this
I mean,
one doesn't
honestly,
make a whole lot of sense either.
whenever you get down to it, at the end of the day, neither you or I are kids. So what does it matter? It's gonna be. That's gonna be our children that have to deal with this. Let them deal with it.
Right.
Let them figure it out whenever they're 5 and 6. Fucking go make your own food. Stop being such a lazy asshole.
Right. That'll show them for being born.
I don't know. It looks like they've tried to repeal the No Hungry Kids Act before and it didn't work, or it's not going anywhere. Or
Yeah.
this could be them trying to pull in that other bill into this one as well to try to get it passed as a rider.
Yeah, that's what I'm suspecting it is. Using the other one as a way to get the repeal to go through.
I
But
mean, again, like I said for the other one, there's probably just stuff that we don't know about that's going on in the background. I don't. It seems odd to me that people always want to. I don't know. It seems backwards to me to always try to demonize the government. That's not necessarily what we're doing, but then like continue to believe in. I don't know. Something just feels weird about complaining about this and then not understanding the reasons why, or not having listed the reasons.
it would be helpful, like you were saying there, if they would give us something to explain the logic behind it.
Because I mean, they didn't. Well, I don't know. Maybe they did, but you would think that they wouldn't just bring bills into Congress that they would deliberately just not get passed. Like this has to go past some. This has to go past someone else in order to get into the House, right? Like, it's not like they would just put this in and assuming that it's not going to get passed. Because who would pass for the dissolution of the Department of Education? You know,
Yeah.
Trump may have brought in some cabinet leaders that have, a certain amount of sway or a certain amount of weight to push around, but they're not all of Congress and all of the Senate. Granted, that doesn't mean that they can't be persuaded because of that, but that doesn't seem like something that would pass without there being a reason, I feel.
Yeah.
Unless if that reason is malevolent, which it could be.
I was gonna say, like, the reason doesn't have to be good. The reason can be they're trying to fuck us.
That's the other thing, too. I just never understood what they get out of fucking us. I don't know. Living in a household where we're constantly exposed to all the conspiracy theory stuff, I kind of have checked out from anything regarding government. It doesn't really interest me. As far as I'm concerned, all this stuff can happen, and we're all still just gonna die someday. So it doesn't really make any difference, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at.
Some of these things could make a difference, though, and
Is
I
that gonna
suppose
make
the
you not die,
reason,
though?
no,
Is
but
that gonna make them live
it
forever?
could severely impact quality of life for a lot of people, including us.
Then you just move to another country. Like,
It's not that easy.
Well, that's the other thing, is that if you really care about it, and you feel like you can't change anything, then just move somewhere else. Australia has a lot of room. They accept a ton of Americans and shit.
You still have to
Canada's kind
have
of hard.
to be allowed to move to almost any country permanently. You have to have a sponsor who lives there, and there's a bunch of other requirements. You have to have some sort of marketable ability that they need in their country.
Well, let's just go ahead and move to. Let's contact Vard. He lives in Australia.
I actually know.
Vard, if you're listening, contact us.
Yes, please give us a call.
This is Kamina and VZ. Please get back online and let us move to your country and live with you.
I actually do know someone in Australia who could set us up with sponsorship, but
Yeah, see, there you go. Problem solved. We don't have to worry about any of these bills anymore. We can just move to Australia.
I told Runar he should sponsor me to move to Norway.
Ooh, Norway. Yeah, that's another good one. You can move there. But I don't know. It doesn't really bother me, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. And I don't understand whenever people care so deeply about it, but they're not. It feels like if it was worth worrying about, it would be worth looking into everything about. And maybe that's just because that information isn't out there publicly, which I guess is a problem as well. But I just don't understand the points in worrying about this when we don't fully understand the story.
I suppose
That's
part
what is that called? It's called sensationalism.
part
You're just
part
trying
of
to-
what it is that I'm doing is I'm trying to gain an understanding of these things that are happening, because they seem sinister from an outside perspective, and I would like to be proved wrong.
I keep looking at the sponsor for the 610, and it's Steve King, but I keep reading it as King Steve because that's what it's listed at. I'm just like, I don't know. I got the king of all Steves. Why he's only a representative? He should be something higher, I would think. But I
Right.
guess times are hard these days for the kings,
For Steves in general.
for the king of all Steves, no less.
Yeah.
Wonder how he feels about King Stephen if they have ever had to go to battle.
That's a good question. We should do some research. Honestly, this is what I was hoping you would notice this, because this is what really matters.
Well, I think the only logical solution, if this is your concern, KS69, is to not go to law school and become a representative and then get corrupt in the process and then move into office and then become the monster that you hate.
Okay.
But instead is to just talk about it on a podcast that no one listens to, and that one day maybe someone years from now will listen to and be like, you know what? They were right.
I think you're right.
I think we're on the right track here.
We should
Let's
just
keep doing this.
Yeah. Keep doing what we're doing.
Exactly. What's the other P of podcast? I'm pretty. That was the political.
I don't remember. It was like fisting or something.
Yeah, that sounds right. What's got anything to talk about with fisting?
It rhymes with everything.
True.
Like give me a word, just any word.
Michael Jackson.
Fisting rhymes with it.
Yeah, you're right.
Another word. Let's just rapid fire all the words you
Orange.
can think of. Fisting,
Unfortunately,
fisting,
evolve.
fisting,
Paste.
fisting,
Bamboo.
fisting,
Trick.
fisting. You see, it works with all of them, and
Yeah,
you can't dispute it. You just can't.
that was a quality segment brought to you by the ISoGS crew. I think we're done. Are we done?
I feel like we probably are. I think we've exhausted all the possibilities tonight.
Yeah, I'm pretty exhausted after all that. That finishes us up. Let's KS69, not Kamina. Where can people find you on the internet?
People can find me on the internet at my Twitch channel, kawaii_senpai69. You can also find me on Twitter at the same handle extension. Did we agree on what that was?
Nope, no agreement. We never agree on this podcast.
That's true. Not even right now.
No, I agree.
Damn it. What is happening? And there will be, I'm sure, as last time, we'll have a link to my YouTube channel in the
Yeah.
description. What about you, VZ?
Um, vz.com/internet.
Hell yes.
And there we go. That's gonna finish us up for this week. Gonna be released on Friday this week. I think that's looking like the better day.
hmm
That's yeah. Got any parting words?
I just want all of our listeners, I should say, to remember the words of the great philosophers Bill S. Preston Esquire and Ted Theodore Logan,
Mm-hmm.
and be excellent to each other.
Here comes the